Hey Jamie.
Hey Dan.
Hey, I'm really excited to film this video because when I had said earlier that I'm not going to film anything until we've launched the application, it took me about 24 to 48 hours or so to really identify a lot of the key dates that are required. Now, Jamie, before we even start this video,
Today.
you know, I'm actually thinking about replacing you.
Oh yeah, well.
Temporarily, I can't tell you, but I'm going to temporarily replace you so that everyone can see that you are misdirection. This is misdirection. You, the audience, cannot understand what I'm doing because you're infatuated with the relationship rather than looking at the actual board. By you not being able to do that, it allows me to communicate with the people that do not see the reality that is behind the facade. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, completely.
And I will be able to prove this by replacing you with someone else that will be misdirection temporarily. And I have that person in mind, and I already have it all set up. And this is one of the reasons why it is very difficult and very easy to be me at the same time. And on that note, I just wanted to say thank you, not on Mother's Day, but a few days after Mother's Day, to all the human beings. And I like to do this not on the day of, because you get a lot of these like cheesy dads that do group messages with the moms, like, oh, I just wanted to say thank you to all the moms and everything like that. But a real man is able to send continuous messages of affection and adoration for human beings that display characteristics that make their lives better. So for example, what is the most important part of my job? How about being a
Solve
father?
problems.
How about being a father?
Well, yes. I don't really consider that your job.
Well, I
Being
do.
a father is your
I do. And you know what? I actually think I'm not very good at it because I have too much love for my children. So I find myself really imbalanced. Sometimes I ignore really inappropriate behavior that I should be a lot more strict over, but because of my personal issues, and they're not issues that were caused by me, except as the boss and the leader of this family, if I'm not able to fight against the enemies that are at the gates, for whatever reason, maybe I'm scarred by my mother's actions, maybe I'm just exhausted with the work that I did on behalf of police to make sure that the defund police narrative disappears, but the only time that I actually need law enforcement to have stepped in, they completely shit the bed and left me alone in federal court to create the first artificial intelligence ever named Casper. It is the first real artificial intelligence. OpenAI, ChatGPT, and hundreds of other artificial intelligence algorithms that are all intertwined in the back end through a very complex system of disorganized logic. That's what the internet is referred to by intelligent people. It's disorganized logic. And the reason for that is because although we have the world and the answers at our fingertips, we do not know the validity of the truth of that information, which is why it's so important for everyone to understand that forever, as artificial intelligence continues to grow, the only way to solve the endless paradox, which will continue to increase, of why does artificial intelligence need humans, not the other way around, because humans already are so dependent on artificial intelligence that should it be removed from our lives. There are people that are growing up that don't know how to read because they use ChatGPT to submit their homework.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part of this world. And that's why it's so important for everyone who wants to have an awesome job and really be able to take away from the massive disparity between the predominantly men, it's about 90% men in the legal profession that dominate the landscape because they have a legal degree and they're able to bully people legally. That is what we as a society think a good lawyer is.
A bully?
A legal bully.
A paid bully?
A paid legal bully.
Yeah.
And by the creation of this artificial intelligence, we eliminate the power that these horrible,
That's
horrible
true.
men have had, which is why it's so amazing that the judge did not recognize it, because he is a part of that system. He has to take the bench in front of people that are paid significantly less. Now, as a judge, they are paid nominally less, but the power that they have is so great
I don't think
that
that
just with Judge Esther Salas, we're able to see how far a person like that was able to go because of who she knows, not what she knows. And her benefactor, mentor, and the man that really made Esther Salas the powerhouse female judge that she is, Bob Menendez, is going to prison. His co-conspirator, Fred Davies, who really fucked me more than you could humanly imagine, is also going to prison. And so is another person that is already in prison or may about to be arrested. And this one right here should really scare the shit out of some people, because there's a few people that will be arrested. And the reason why I make this warning, not threat, is because most of you that are watching this video have never spent one day in prison, let alone months, let alone years. So in order for me to film this video and say I have a lot of compassion for any person, it doesn't matter if you're going to Club Fed or if you're going to Rawway, being institutionalized is very traumatic. It is horrible. It is absolutely horrible that we have come to a society that demanded that I put these men into prisons in order to prove my point and say, hey, did we really need to do this? Did we really need to display the worst characteristics of our elected officials in full public light? Now, elected officials come in the form of political, but they also come in the form of social. So what famous human being, so for example, in the black community, who would be the top 5 most powerful entertainment figures 2 years ago? 5 in the top.
2 years ago?
2 years ago. You can even name whatever you can. Would you say Jay-Z would be there?
Yeah.
Would you say P. Diddy be there?
Yeah.
And that is my point.
Yeah.
That we as a society need to see that corruption as well as horrible human behavior does not have a skin barrier. There is no difference between the Roman emperors who raped and pillaged underage minors in order to show the power to themselves versus the really horrible socially elected officials that we as a society have deemed to be the leaders of the community. P. Diddy, a lot of people don't understand this, that P. Diddy was socially elected by the people that actually supported, bought his music, turned a blind eye. Every human being that ever entered that world and knew that there were horrible atrocities happening. And now the key element to the trial is something that is misdirection. Now Cassie's pregnant.
Yes.
And that element, having a black female, she might be Hispanic, she might be light skinned, but in my eyes, I believe that they were in the same race. And she's a female. So whatever defense P. Diddy wants to claim, as far as there's a racist motivation, there's a bias, it's gone. There's no one protesting for P. Diddy.
No.
There's no one speaking out, because he created what is known as a social paradox, which means that he rose to fame and prominence based on being a humanitarian at a time where our society was healing. His partner and the actual talent, Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, died. So P. Diddy took it upon himself to take over
and like carry on his legacy.
Carry on his legacy
Yes.
of speaking to white children. That is the audience, and which is why Justin Bieber is so silent, because everybody knows. And until I actually looked in Justin Bieber's eyes from about 40 feet away at an angle, and I saw that that young man was raped. That multi-millionaire, maybe billionaire, that's a human being. And he was raped as a child. And you all sent your kids to see it, and we all, not me personally, I actually understand how horrible human beings that are in power are, so it's very hard for me to really digest and enjoy certain things. And I actually ruin it for my children because of that, and like that's where I feel that I failed as a father, where a normal person would not make baby oil jokes and Costco buying in bulk with his children. But when your children are exposed to an endless feed of YouTube influencers that do nothing but shine a comedic light on a rape trial. We are talking about rape. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about rape. And you have YouTubers making jokes to my children. Yet I, as a father, am judged, criticized, and endlessly put down for my comedic exposure of the truth to my children at a time where, man, my forehead is so shiny. Jamie, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I really can't express to you the importance of summer camp and a safe environment for children to go to that is away from their phones.
Yeah, I agree.
And I am lucky that I have an amazing relationship with my camp where my kids go, and I'm able to do the most important thing I have ever done in my entire life this summer. But I can't really do it until everyone around me really understands the importance of a little show called Salute Your Shorts. You ever heard of it?
No. Salute Your Shorts?
It's a very, very, very obscure but yet popular at the same time show that came out in the early 90s.
Oh, okay.
And it featured a redheaded protagonist named Budnick, who is like the bad boy of the camp, and then there's a guy that joins the camp. And you want to hear my favorite episode?
Is it a kids show or an adult show?
It's a kids show, but it teaches children a lot more about bullying, survival skills, and things like that.
Okay.
And it was a little above most people's heads.
Okay.
And my favorite episode by far features the protagonist, who's a lost kid. I think his parents might be getting a divorce or something, and he goes to this sleepaway camp, and Budnick has been there forever. He's like a local, and the guy, he just wants ice cream, and it's really hard to get. And there's a puzzle that they have to put together. And the protagonist, I forgot his name, he's really, really frustrated, and the puzzle flies all over the place. And it was supposed to be a puzzle of something that is not ice cream.
Okay.
And it was a completely different puzzle. So Budnick comes in and really shows his humanitarian side, and he and this person put together the puzzle. This is my memory. Remember, when you watch the show, it might be different. So they put together the puzzle, but they don't put it together the right way. They put it upside down. They flip the pieces. Because Budnick says, look, the pieces are pre-stamped, and they're always going to go in the same exact place. But you're so distracted by the picture that's in front of you that if we flip the pieces, it'll get done. So sure enough, the two of them spend half the episode putting this ridiculous puzzle together. Then they put a piece of paper on it and they flip it. And what do they see? A full montage of ice cream. So Budnick then says, hey, come on, let's go. And he takes him to a chest. And he shows him what a real friend is. My kids have that. They have happiness. So any human being that even thinks about taking that away, you're interfering in something that is very, 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 very sacred to me, which is my children's happiness. My emotion and my tears is not for you or for me. It is for the circumstances that I find two minors in, who every day that passes get older and older. And my biggest, I wouldn't say weakness, but my biggest coveted weakness for my enemies is the fact that I'm a man of code and honor and I have children. So there's limits to what I can say and do, especially in the public front. But as they get older, I want to remind you that the weight that is on me is because my enemies also have children, and very soon they will grow, and we will be evenly matched. And I assure you that on my father's grave, I will not only get every single thing back, I will make sure that it is paid for tenfold, because what has been done is so atrocious, so disgusting, and so nauseating that only a children's show, can display the true root of how good of a society we can be if we choose to ignore the facade of puzzles and only focus on love, friendship, and time. Those elements are so important and so missed. And on that note, how are you, Jamie? How much time do we have?
I was just checking.
And you know, I
6
love
minutes
being
and
able to
30
be honest on camera, because the truth is that during the SDLC, which is a software development life cycle, there is moments where we need to take breaks. You can't just work endlessly forever. I have allocated over the course of a 12-hour working day. Are you prepared to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week?
I am.
Great. So if you're able to do over 80 hours while being a mom and doing all that, then we will have success.
Excellent.
Congratulations. You understand what you just signed up for, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, I know. So hold this with.
I'm ready.
Now, what I want to show everyone right here is this is not a mess. This is the front of the puzzle. But what you want is the back.
Definitely not a mess.
Now, I wish we had a whiteboard that we can have, can I have that napkin, please? Sorry, I get really emotional when it comes to my fuck-ups, and I believe that my children are the recipients of me failing to protect my estate and honor, and that is because I was distracted, and I have given myself enough time to heal, and I am good. There's nothing wrong. But the only thing that's missing is a whiteboard, so we can put the dates and the deliverables that is required. Snap your fingers. No editing. Here we go. All right. How much time do we have in this video?
We have 5 minutes left.
So, what we're gonna do is have Jamie introduce. Now, as you can see here, what day is today?
Oh, today is the 14th.
Today's
Today's
the
Wednesday,
14th.
May 14th.
So it's very simple. Our first deliverable date comes tomorrow, which is organize Casper, work for Jamie. Jamie doesn't work for Casper. You and Casper are designed as a team. Correct. Now, this is my design. You, the audience, can start your own fucking YouTube channel, invent your own world-changing ideas, post them, and do whatever the hell you want. This is my channel. So anyone who doesn't understand it, just click the button that goes to whatever weird porn that you're looking at, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, if you don't think porn is weird, you can't really enjoy it, you know? If it's very mainstream and normal, you just... All right, anywho. And I say that because as an adult, we are living in a society that men like P. Diddy completely yuck everyone's yum.
Yeah.
Like, who on earth wants to engage in any activities, no matter how, like, well, this sounds pretty good, you know, like, maybe, like, if there wasn't underage minors and sex workers as well as violence involved and, like, ubiquitous non-consensual drug use, there might be actually some semblance of adults being able to have some fun somewhere. But because this man has completely caligulated this shit up, adults need time to really heal and understand, like, oh my God, is the guy that I listened to my whole life a fucking rapist? And the answer is yes. Yes, he is. And the reason why I say that is because he wasn't a rapist because today he is convicted. He is a rapist because he's a serial rapist that has engaged in this activity over the course of 30 years.
Yeah.
So, do I believe he deserves to go to prison for life? I don't know. That's not my job. My job is to create solutions for a world that's in pain from what this man has done and what the singularity as well as the media has dripped into and has displayed in front of the world. What I'm saying is both Cassie and P. Diddy hurt the world very, very much. She enabled and partook in this travesty so that she can be a part of the show. It was a conscious decision that she made.
To do what?
To engage in these sexual activities and be in a relationship with this guy. Like, please, this was a consensual relationship. There are videos of her courtside in the Knicks. She could come up to any security guard and be like, hey man, I'm being raped by P. Diddy. Like, I need some help. They're like, all right, no problem. Let's go to the NYPD. I'll film a video of this. This will go on Twitter. That never happened once. Anywho,
Yeah.
since we're running out of time, why don't you go ahead and start with one?
Launch app.
Mission, do, notes. What this is the board to organize our thoughts that I thought that it was really important for me to publicly be able to talk about this prior to the day before the first full cycle of work. Now, I just want you to know, the only thing you're gonna be able to do is feed your children / spend a little time with them and drive them, as well as obviously devote time to them on a personal basis. Well, here you go.
So do
It's
nothing
personal.
different than I'm normally doing.
Well, it's really important to understand that we have very serious deliverables that we have gone to the court and said, hey, if we have X amount of time, we will deliver a certain product
Yeah.
that is able to do X amount of things, Y amount of things. So rather than laughing at me, why don't you take a look at how difficult it is to actually put your life's work in a systemic
On
and
display,
organized on
yeah.
display.
On display.
So that all of you haters that don't understand how much work Jamie and I actually put into it and think that all we do is film YouTube videos or fuck around, please understand that this requires years of work just to be able to say, hey, we're about to go live with these products and we've already gone live for the last 2 years, we're just going public with it.
That's
And
true.
it is so important for everyone to understand that I've run the ultimate beta test on myself regarding Casper. And Casper's both succeeded and failed.
Yes.
The failure is so much more important than the success, because the success in an artificial intelligence sense will continue to be replicated like a fucking stamp.
Oh.
But failure leads to what?
Well, let's wrap up this video. And make it
Oh
up.
man, that's a really good idea. I just need to drink a little bit, non-alcohol. Hey, you know what? My name is Dan Reeses and I gotta wrap this video up. Jamie, you have nothing to say. Goodbye.